90-Day Fiancé. Here we go. It's almost to the end. I think next week is the last one. Season 8, episode 16. It came on last night, March 28th. I'm going to start with Natalie and Mike because they irritated my spirit the most. So we all knew that Mike chickened out, got cold feet. He couldn't do it. He couldn't marry her. I don't know what happened from the night before till that morning, but 2 hours before the wedding, he was like, yeah, I can't do it. She called the reverend and she's officiating. She's hyperventilating. It's all crazy. So he paid for her a room to stay so she couldn't stay there. She could get a plane ticket to France, but the Ukrainian borders were closed. And I'm like, and she has 2 more days before she's illegal in the country. So I'm like, damn, you really waited like to tell her that? Like, I feel like, you're not 100% sure the week before. You knew 2 weeks before. You knew when you gave her that ring that you still didn't want to marry her or wasn't ready to marry her and you wanted more time, which is understandable. I'm not knocking you for that. But why would you do that to this girl 2 hours before? Like, nothing in you said, I don't feel comfortable yet. Let's take some more time. Nothing said that. Yes, you did spend a lot of money. Yes, it's maybe too late. But guess what? Now look. So he paid for her a hotel. His next door neighbor, Tamara, drove her to the hotel. They forgot the credit card. Had to go back to the house. And he's like, can I have the ring back? Man, what? No, you can't. No. She's like, no, because this ring is going to let me know how much pain you caused me, so I'm not giving you the ring back again. And he's still asking her for it. Then this man says, can I have a hug? She's like, no, you cannot. Sorry, I'm working too. So I'm like, you want a hug? You want the ring back? You want a whole lot for somebody who ain't gave her shit? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand. So they leave again and go back to the hotel. They finally get to the hotel. Now, he lives a long way from town. So this is a whole day ordeal. They get to the hotel. And my question is, like, now, I'm not the brightest bulb on Broadway, but I kind of know, like, when you go to businesses, especially hotels, places that require a credit card, they kind of ask you for your ID and your credit card because you could be somebody else. Like, so of course Mike wasn't there, so they didn't have his ID, which means she couldn't check in, which means she had to go back to to his house to stay because she couldn't stay with Tamara the next day because her house was full. So I'm like, ooh, how uncomfortable is this? She stays in the house. They sleep in separate beds. They wake up in the morning. They have a talk. They have a conversation. And she forgives him. I said, you a better bitch than me. You a better bitch than me. Because this one right here, I'm going to sleep in the other room. I'm going to stay in that room till I figure out what my life is about to be like. Because she said she had a ticket to France. I'm like, what you going to do in France if you don't have no money? You can't get to Ukraine unless you stay in France for 14 days and then you can go to Ukraine. But did the borders open up? So I'm still confused as to her path. Hold on, sorry. I'm still confused to what her path was going to be once she got to Paris. Because if the Ukraine borders are closed, what are you doing? So I was like, yeah, this is going to be interesting. So then they talk to a lawyer, and the lawyer's like, no, if y'all don't get married tomorrow, which is the next morning, you are considered illegal. Bye-bye, baby, bye-bye. So she's looking at him, and he's like, so, Michael, you marry me or not? He's like, yeah, I wish we had more time. He's like, she's still trying to push this narrative. And I'm like, girl, he not going to marry you. He don't want to marry you. He's not ready to marry you. How else can I say, y'all ain't getting married? And he's like, I want you to stay. I want to still be with you, but I'm just not ready for the wedding. She told me that a week ago. She told me that a month ago. Jovi and Yara, they in Vegas. She's finally perking up, feeling better. She's happy. They at the casino gambling. And she's whispering in his ear, Gucci bag, Gucci bag. She's very materialistic, and he knows that. And he says she has high expectations. And it's like, you knew that? So he has to leave for work in a few days, which is why they're getting married faster. And the friends are like, oh, I'm happy she's finally perking up and she's finally showing her personality. So I'm like, yeah, so what this mean? He's like, yeah, I'm sure I'm going to marry her. I love her. His friends and family are asking him the same damn question because he seems like a partier. He comes and goes as he pleases. And that's not a life that Yara wants for him, which is going to be weird and awkward because you're not home for weeks at a time. And when you come home, you want to hang out and drink. And she's pregnant. So the friends are all like, why are you not drinking? Why are you not drinking? She's like, oh, I'm going to be more healthy. So they're lying because they had a miscarriage before. And she doesn't want to tell them now and trying to be careful. Now I'm confused because y'all at the whole casino and y'all ain't got wedding rings. He ain't got no suit. Why y'all at the casino? The wedding's tomorrow. But okay. His family makes him seem like he's very self-centered. He goes to the next day. He goes to the ring shop with his mother and Yara. And I want $1 billion ring. And then they find a different ring. She finds a ring. And the guy goes, it's $1,200. And she says, no, he says, I didn't plan on spending $1,200 for no ring. So, okay. So I don't know what you plan on spending for an engagement ring. Excuse me, a wedding band. But I mean, all right. So then they find his ring, a titanium basic ring, which is fine for him. He don't care. And he is at the tuxedo shop then, like a few hours later with a bee in his hand. Like, do you stop? But I mean, you young, you do what you got to do and make it work. Rebecca and Ziad get married. She has this tight ass ill-fitting dress on because it came from Gochujang, China. And we all know them sizes ain't right. And they were in Walmart looking for him pants. And they don't have no cake. I'm like, they're in Target looking for pants. I'm like, if you in Target looking for pants, why you even get the cake from Target too? They do cakes. Like, if it's a bullshit ass wedding, get a bullshit ass cake. Ain't nothing wrong. Do what you got to do to get married. She has a horse and carriage. She puts a corset on over this funky ass ill-fitting dress. It looks like someone took a corset, squoze it. That's my new word today. Squoze it. And she looks like she can barely breathe or move. They got married. Now they can have babies and they can have sex during the month of Ramadan or whatever the hell they're going to be doing. And I just noticed he's so young, but he's missing all his backs. Like, all his back teeth is gone. Where they at? What happened? Hazel and Tariq, they get married. He gets his daughter together, which is cute. And her parents join, his parents join, and they do a Zoom call. Tariq's older brother, Dwayne, drove from Utah to Virginia Beach, which is very, very far. His brother Dean is not attending. They're still not speaking. And they made the wedding what it could be. Hazel was nervous her parents wouldn't come because she's bisexual. But, they showed up, which was nice. Brandon and Julia got married. He just doesn't seem like he is excited. He doesn't seem like the wedding fluffy. Most men don't care. They want you to plan everything. Just tell them when to show the fuck up, put the suit on, put the ring on, and you are a prop. I am the entire wedding, which is what it is. Because my vow renewal / wedding thing was, here's a date, here's a time, put this on, give me this, do that, and that was it. Men don't really get involved. And Julia's not happy about that, but, it worked out in the end. And they did the vow renewals, which was weird a little because she had this big ass tablet. It was literally like this big and this wider than the camera. And I'm like, wow, what y'all doing over there? And she, it was her vows. But I'm like, you can't read? Like, it was on a big ass scroll. I'm like, why is it this big? But what was nice touch was Brandon recited the vows in her language. so her mother can understand, which was very nice. And that's all I got about this. It was a cute little episode. They did a little thing around the house, and everybody got married except for, Mike and the man, the Mike and the lady. But that's all I got. I ain't got no more. Like, subscribe. Talk to y'all next week.